All right. Topic number 2. G6 solo armadas. I tried my first one of these the other day. It did not go quite as well as I hoped. We're going to swap ships. I need this. I need this. And nope. So just like other solo armadas, you need 3 ships. You can use up to 3 ships. You don't have to have 3 ships, but you can use up to 3 ships. The earliest ones, again, are in the lower level systems here. They do require warp 900 to reach, which might be a hindrance for you. My Enterprise can get there just fine. My Borg cube, because my Enterprise is only tier 7, my cube only has somewhere in the 800s, so I have to put Grush on here to get it just over 900 so it can join it. And then the only other ships I'd have that could reach would be the NX-01 or Voyager. So I'm using the NX-01 just sort of as like an extra little meat shield to absorb a few shots. So that way it can take a few extra hits. We're going to go do some Klingon ones because I haven't done those yet. And we're going to go check this out. And take a few minutes to fly out there. The uncommon is in a hub system. It didn't look like I could move there. That would be better if you could obviously relocate there. Only the ROM one has housing? Ah, that's why I was doing the Fed ones. Okay. Well, let's everybody stop. Stop. And stop. Change course. Change of plans. Everybody go there instead. So the ROM one is actually in the spot that has housing on it, so you can relocate your base. That's very good to know. Thank you for pointing that out. Booty and Carissa both pointing that one out. Appreciate that. Everybody bookmark that for later. Stop, collaborate, and listen. Absolutely. Tibbs is back with a brand new invention. So we're going to fly out there. In the meantime, let's take a quick look at crews. So standard Armada crew here. We've got Cisco Miles with Gwen DeMarco for the extra Cascade. This one is Chakotay with 7 of 9 and then Grush. And then over here, I used Picard, Beverly, and Eurydice. Again, just trying to make this as much of a meat shield as I can. Obviously, it doesn't have shields, so that's not really good, but the shields are going to drop every time I get hit. Basically, the first time I get hit, my shields are going down. Voyager would probably be a little bit potentially better for this because it has a little more shield health and whatnot, but it's also more expensive to repair. So I'm just using the NX-01 again, just as a throwaway third ship, just to sort of block some damage. For those of you unfamiliar with how this little combo works. So Eurydice here, when the shields are depleted, she has a 75% chance to restore 5% of your shields. But Picard Beverly boosts her ability, so it makes it a guaranteed 100%. So every time I get shot, because my shield health is so low, my shields are going to go away. And then her ability is going to kick in, and she's going to put the shields back up 5%, which is just a small little sliver of shield health. Then the next time I get shot again, it's going to absorb all of the damage. The shields are going to go away, because again, the ship doesn't really have any shields. And her ability is going to kick in, and she's just going to keep doing that over and over and over again. Which will just let this ship take a few extra shots, absorb a little more damage, so that way it's not shooting the 2 ships that I actually care about. Booty says the rares are in the Klingon space hub system Dark Lake. Okay, so if you want to do rare solo armadas later on, you can relocate to this level 63 system here, Dark Lake. Good to know. And that's where you can do the G6 rare solo armadas. Again, you'd have to relocate in order to reach it because the warp requirements here are warp 1100, making it even more challenging to do without relocating. Carissa says all the factions have 65 rares that have housing. I'm going to guess it's probably somewhere in this area, right? Yeah. 65 is the first rare there is. That doesn't sound right. 63 is the first rare. Because there's 64 epics. But I could be wrong about that. But I feel like there are 64 epics. Because I remember looking them up before for Moose. And they're in Holst here is where you can do epics. Okay, good. Thank you for... Like, I know a little bit of stuff. All right, so here's our first go at these guys here. The uncommon 61s are 35 billion power. They are typical solo armadas. They take about, say, minute and a half timers that you're used to. You can speed them up if you want to. And we're just waiting on our cube to get a little closer here. And then we can go ahead and start this up. Let's go ahead and start a solo armada. You get a daily chest every single day that gives you 300 uncommon credits. That's enough to start 3 uncommon G6 solo armadas per day for free from a gift chest. Woo! We like those. And as far as rewards, we'll check that out in just a second as well. Now I have nothing active. I have no buffs. I have no fortifications of any kind. My very first test run, I did Enterprise with Voyager and the NX-01 because I didn't realize if I made some upgrades to my cube that it could reach it. I had to do some research still that I forgot to do when I hit 61. So don't forget to do your cube research. Make sure your cube warp range is as high as it can go. And the first time around, I didn't kill it. I got it like 75% of the way down. Replacing Voyager with the Borg cube. This is going to be our first trial with that without any buffs. When I did it with buffs, I was able to kill 2 or 3. So hopefully this will still work without anything. And we'll see exactly what we're looking at. Again, just as a good baseline, right? Because I'm effectively two-manning this with, you know, a little brother who's tagging along just to get smacked around a little bit. All right, so we lived, but I lost both ships. Without any buffs, I lost the cube and I lost the NX-01. Excuse me. All right, let's speed up and let's run back. And yes, I see everybody in the chat saying, just relocate your base, just relocate your base. Well, I've got miners and token systems right now, so that's not an option for me. Shouldn't have to relocate my base every time I want to do something. Yes, you can, and make your life probably a little easier. But there are also going to be those days where you can't, because you got something else going on. This happens to be one of those days. So we're going to run back. We're going to try this again, except this time I'm going to use an exocomp. We're going to use one of these plus 500 damage versus Armada ones. Because, well, I've got 31 of them and can't see imagine what else I'm going to save them for. So let's throw one of those on. And we'll wait and see just exactly how this one works out. In the meantime, we can go back and look at the first one. Look at the battle log here. That's what we're working with ship-wise. 14 rounds the fight went. We got off plenty of extra shots and bonuses and damages and things. It's shooting me for quite a bit of isolytic damage. Actually, more isolytic than regular damage. So isolytic defense would certainly help in this case. If you have room for someone like Pelia below deck on at least one of your ships. Also making sure you've got all your fleet commanders and whatnot upgraded with your isolytic defense. Although I think some of these, it's only for like the first couple rounds. It does a lot more isolytic. I want to say that's like the ability on it, right? Oh, this just boosts its isolytic by 150%. Okay. And its defense by 50%. So it's very isolytic heavy in its abilities. As far as loot goes, well, it gave me 40k from killing it. Again, other research and things maybe modifying that base value. And then the starter chest gives me about another 70. Yeah, 70,000. So that's 110. And I think I timed this close to right. Hey, I did. Look at that. My G6 uncommon solo pack single chest is 100. So killing one and between the starter's chest and the loot chest gives you about 100k, which is enough to do a single chest pull, giving you 35 toward the rare, as well as a chance at an assortment of resources and benefits here, also including some regular speed ups and some repair speed ups, not to be confused with each other, even though they have the same identical graphic. You also have a little bit of other materials, as well as a chance at some of the hazard and rare hazard particles, and possibly even some galactic acclaim. So we're going to do, today I'm going to wait till I do the second one, and I'm going to 2 chest pull this for the 350 here, and hopefully get some better stuff out of it. Trek points out in chat here, Trek 1702, because I think there's 2 Treks in our chat today. Oops. Which I can't get into, which is really annoying. I'd like to be able to see my research trees, but I can't do that until I have an empty one because the building is currently upgrading, which is just really dumb. It's just a really bad mechanic. There is a Prime Armada attack research node somewhere out here. Maybe I've already done it. There's a bunch of them that add, but some of them do require Prime Armada vulnerability. I think this is the one. It boosts critical hit damage versus Armada targets by 50%. That requires G6 uncommon gas, which I now have access to. There's a bunch of new primes, obviously, that have access to by getting some of these G6 materials that you can start claiming now. It's not Op 61 research specifically, Bel Air. You can probably buy it earlier than that. But it does require 6-star materials, which I now refine for free. So I don't have to spend $100 to buy this thing. I could just do it for free right now. In 227 days. Again, another little perk and benefit of moving up to 61 is that getting access to some of these primes. Even just from the very basic, I've been 61 for 3 days now. Just from doing some of the ex-Borg chests and things, or these bundles here from doing these solo armadas. That's equaling a whole bunch of free primes. All right, so you're in place, you're in place. We're just going to wait another 15 seconds for the cube to get close enough. And now the only buff that we have active is we have a 500% damage towards Armada exocompactive. We're going to see if this fight goes a little bit better. You know, when I had max fortification on, this was fine. The NX-01 died on the first fight. I didn't even send it back because the cube and the Enterprise took so little damage with the max fortify on that I just used them to keep going. But without the max fortification Titan boost, I kind of wanted to see what we'd end up with. So we'll see how this fight goes this time around. And again, recognizing, of course, that when I get the Enterprise to tier 8, then I can tier the cube up as well, and the cube will get stronger, and these fights will get easier and easier. But, you know, for week 1, where's our starting point? Where's our baseline? So let's see how we do here. Let's see how we do. By the way, Peace or Assimilation, thank you very much for the Twitch subscription earlier. Appreciate that. Thank you. All right. So this time around with the exocomp buff, the cube lived with just slightly less than half power. The NX-01 got destroyed like it was supposed to. And we're going to try and two-man this and see if it goes the rest of the way. What's up, Samo? Free primes. Primes are good. So effectively, this went 12 rounds now, so we sped that up a little bit. And just for those of you who, again, just want to see how this whole thing is going, so the NX-01 gets shot. Actually, the NX-01 got shot earlier. So the NX-01 got shot, shields got depleted. The follow-up shots go straight through to the hull. Then Eurydice's ability, right there, kicks in, gets it 5% shields back. So when I get shot again, I have shields that absorb 7.5 million shield health right there. That's not how much shield health I actually have. The ship itself has very little. But shields always absorb 80% of the damage and only let 20% of the rest of it through to the hull. As long as you have one drop of shield health, it will absorb 80% of the damage. So it does it here. This goes to 0, this goes to 0, and Eurydice kicks right back in there and gives me some shield health back. And eventually we move on, and there's the NX-01 getting shot again. No shield health. Oh, I'm guessing the NX-01 must have died right here. Oh no, it crit. It gave me a crit, which is 0 damage for some reason, because of other crit damage reduction benefits. Every time it gives me a crit, I get 0 damage. I like that. Why can't you crit me more often, hostile? So we've got more of this stuff going on, and then there's the NX-01, which again just kind of keeps meat shielding, right? It's just there to absorb a few extra hits to let the cube take less damage and let the Enterprise take less damage so we can live longer and be more prosperous. Get more of these things done. It's like a baby Vindicator. There you go. This thing was the Vindicator before the Vindicator even existed. And now I have the ability to come in here and I can do I've got 561. That's enough to do a double chest pull. And let's see what we get out of it. So I get a nice little chunk of Sigma Tritaniums and Par Steel, a little 5-star rare, some 5-star ship parts, some 6-star uncommon. Okay. Some 6-star ship parts. There's 1,000 hazard particles, a little galactic acclaim, some faction credits, and 7 hours worth of speed ups. Fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. So that just cut this down another 7 hours. 7.5 hours. Because the idea of using 1.5 million latinum for this is a little daunting. It's a little daunting. It was 5 hours. Two of them were repairs. No, the one. So it was a 3 hour speed up, and then it was a 1 hour speed up, but it was 4x of the 1 hour speed up. And then there were repair speed ups next to it. So that saved me a few hours and a few latinum here, so I don't have to worry about finishing this building. But that's kind of how at least G6 uncommon armadas worth. And like others have mentioned, and we were talking about briefly before, there are Picard, thank you very much for giving 0 G's a subscription to the channel. I'm sure he'll appreciate that next time he's here. I don't think he's here today, but thank you for that. I appreciate that. I'm sure he will too. But yeah, the rares are a little harder. You have to do, again, enough of the uncommons now. Is it the same? Is it 100 to start a rare, or is it 200 to start a rare for directives? How many directives do you need? I don't know where my... See, that's where all my credits went. Where did my directives go? They're probably down here at the bottom. Dindy, data nodes, temporal incursion directives. It's the same as the regular price, 200 for a rare, 500 for an epic. Okay. Where did my G6 solo directives go? Uncommon Eclipse. Regular directives. Okay. I must have missed them. I'm sure they're here somewhere. Ah, there we go. Galactic Solo. They're called something different. That's what I wasn't looking for. So they're all the way over here. So I've got 105. So I can't do one yet, but maybe by the weekend I might be able to have enough to do a rare, and then we can work on relocating our base. I'll make sure I don't have any miners anywhere they're not supposed to be, and we can try a rare. And I'll use the Sanctus as the third ship, and buff up and whatnot, and hopefully go a lot better there. Well, that'll be something we can work on Sunday. I don't know why I said Saturday. I don't stream on Saturdays. So there's a little intro to G6 Uncommon Armadas.